You just launched a brand new website. Congratulations, this is a huge step. But what most people don't realize, Google does not automatically know your site exists. You could have the most beautiful website in the world, and if you do not set up Google Search Console, you are flying completely blind. You have no idea if Google is finding your pages, crawling your content, or running into problems. Today, I am going to walk you through the entire Google Search Console setup process from start to finish. By the end of this video, your site will be on Google's radar, and you will have a free tool giving you data that some people pay hundreds of dollars a month for. I am Jordan with May Media, and we set up Search Console for every single new client we bring on, and this is the exact process we follow at the agency. If you want more walkthroughs like this, subscribe and hit the bell. We put out new videos every week. Today, we are going to cover creating your Search Console property, verifying that you own the site, submitting your sitemap, and configuring your initial settings. 4 steps and you will be completely set up. Head to search.google.com/search-console. If you are not already logged into a Google account, do that first. Once you are in, you will see a prompt to add a property. Click the drop down at the top left and select Add Property. Google gives you 2 choices here, domain property or URL prefix property. I'm going to explain both so you can make the right call. A domain property covers everything under your domain. That means www, non-www, HTTP, HTTPS, all subdomains, everything. It is the most comprehensive option. A URL prefix property only covers the exact pattern you type in. So if you enter https://www.example.com, it only covers pages under that exact prefix. It would not cover the non-www version or the HTTP version. My recommendation is always the domain property. It gives you the complete picture. The only scenario where I use URL prefix is when a client does not have access to their DNS settings, because the domain property requires DNS verification. But if you have access to your domain registrar, and most site owners do, go with domain every single time. Type in your domain without the protocol. So just example.com, not https://. Then click continue and Google will ask you to verify ownership. That brings us to step 2, verification. This is where most people get tripped up, but I promise it is simpler than it looks. Verification is just Google making sure you actually own this site. There are several methods, but I'm going to show you the one that I use every single time because it is the fastest and most reliable DNS verification. Google will give you a TXT record. It is a long string of text that starts with Google-site-verification equals. You need to copy this record. Go to your domain registrar, which is wherever you bought your domain. That could be GoDaddy, Namecheap, Cloudflare, Google Domains, whoever, and add this TXT record to your DNS settings. In your DNS settings, add a new record. Set the type to TXT, the name or host to your root domain, or the @ symbol, and paste the verification value that Google gave you. Then save it. Now, here is the hack that saves a ton of time. Most guides will tell you your DNS propagation takes 24 to 48 hours, and technically it can, but in my experience, if you are using Cloudflare, it propagates almost instantly, and on GoDaddy or Namecheap, I've seen it verify in 15 to 30 minutes. So after you add the record, go right back to Search Console and hit that verify button. If it does not work the first time, wait 5 minutes and try again. Keep trying. Do not just walk away and come back tomorrow. And let me say this as clearly as I possibly can. Do not skip this step. Do not put it off. I have had clients come to us 6 months after launching their website and they never set up Search Console. 6 months. That is 6 months of zero data. 6 months of having absolutely no idea whether Google is crawling their site, indexing their pages, or running into errors. 6 months of flying completely blind while their competitors are using this data to outrank them. Search Console should be set up on day 1. Before you worry about your logo, before you stress about your social media content calendar, before you pick your brand colors, get Search Console verified. It is completely free. It takes 10 minutes and it starts collecting data the moment you set it up. There is zero reason to wait. For completeness, Google does offer other verification methods. You can upload an HTML file to your server, add an HTML meta tag to your homepage, or verify through Google Analytics or Google Tag Manager if you have already set those up. These are fine alternatives if you cannot access DNS, but DNS is my go-to every time. Alright, now you are verified, Google knows you own the site. Now let us tell Google what is on the site. Now for step 3, submitting your sitemap. Your sitemap is an XML file that lists every page on your site that you want Google to know about. Think of it as handing Google a table of contents for your website. Without it, Google has to discover your pages on its own by following links, which is slower and less reliable. In the left sidebar, click Sitemaps. You will see a field that says add a new sitemap. Your sitemap URL is almost always your domain /sitemap.xml. If you are on WordPress with a plugin like Yoast or Rank Math, they generate this automatically. If you are on Shopify, Squarespace, or Wix, they also create sitemaps for you. Type in sitemap.xml and hit submit. Once you submit it, Search Console will show you a status. You want to see success along with a count of how many URLs were discovered. If you see an error, the most common causes are a typo in the URL, your sitemap file not being publicly accessible, or the XML being malformed. Pro tip: if you have a large site, you might actually have multiple sitemaps. Some CMS platforms create separate sitemaps for posts, pages, products, and categories. You might also have a sitemap index file that links to all the individual sitemaps. Submit the index file and Google will find all of the sub-sitemaps automatically. After you submit your sitemap, here's what to expect. It typically takes anywhere from a few days to a couple of weeks for data to start showing up in Search Console. Do not freak out if you see zeros in your performance report for the first week or two. Google needs time to crawl all the pages in your sitemap and process the data. Check back in a week. If your sitemap status still says success and the URL count is growing, everything is working. If you see errors, click into them and Search Console will tell you exactly which URLs have problems. Your sitemap is submitted and Google is starting to crawl. Now, let us configure a few settings that will make your Search Console way more useful for you going forward. First, if your business only serves one country, set your target country. This helps Google understand your primary audience. If you are a local plumber in Oklahoma, you do not need Google showing your pages to people in Germany. Second, set up your users and permissions. If you work with a marketing agency, a freelancer, or have team members who need access, add them here. There are different permission levels. Full access lets someone see everything and make changes, and restricted access is read-only. Give full access to your primary marketing person and restrict it to anyone who just needs to pull reports. Third, and this is one people always forget, link Search Console to your other Google tools. You can connect it to Google Analytics and Google Ads. When these tools are linked, data flows between them. Your analytics reports can show Search Console query data, and your ads account can pull organic keyword insights. It makes your entire data ecosystem way more powerful. And finally, let me give you a quick tour of what to check once data starts populating. Your performance report shows your total clicks, impressions, click-through rate, and average position over time. This is your SEO pulse. The pages report shows indexing status, which we covered in detail in last week's video. Experience shows your core web vitals, and links shows you who is linking to you externally and how your internal links are structured. I want you to do one thing after this video. Bookmark Search Console and set a weekly calendar reminder to check it. Just 10 minutes once a week, look at your performance report, scan for any new errors in the pages report, and make sure nothing is broken. That simple habit will put you ahead of 90% of your competition because most people never look at their data after the initial setup. Let's recap what we just did together. Step 1, we created a Search Console property using the domain option so we have full coverage. Step 2, we verified ownership through DNS by adding a TXT record to our domain registrar. Step 3, we submitted our sitemap so Google knows every page we want indexed. And step 4, we configured our settings, added users, and linked Search Console to our other Google tools. Your site is now officially on Google's radar. It is being crawled, it is being evaluated, and you have a free tool that gives you more actionable SEO data than most paid tools. If you would like more detailed videos about how to automate topics we discuss on this channel, check the link in our description for our Made Media Stars membership. Next week, we are shifting gears to SEMrush. I'm going to break down the most common audit errors and show you how to fix each one. If you have been staring at a SEMrush report full of red numbers and have no idea where to start, that video is going to help. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And drop a comment if you have any questions about the Search Console setup process. I will answer as many as I can. See you guys next week.